Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all...
Governor, and just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, and we're going to be doing a play-by-play of the vice presidential debate, which will be on in a little while, and we're going to be starting at 9 o'clock Eastern when it's...
Going into tonight's debate between Governor Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, I had the expectation, you had the expectation, and even Donald Trump really had the expectation that J.D. Vance was going to get crushed in this debate. And of course, that is exactly what happened, but what we couldn't predict, actually, maybe we should have been able to predict, is that Donald Trump would melt down on Truth Social as J.D. Vance was melting down on that debate stage, and that is exactly what happened. Donald Trump losing his mind on Truth Social, as he often does, so upset watching his running mate get crushed, get humiliated by Tim Walz during the debate, and he posted some insane things that I want to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you enjoy our channel and our coverage of tonight's debate, if you hit that subscribe button, it goes a long way in supporting us. Now first, let's get into this message that Donald Trump posted before the debate, a video that I thought was pretty strange. But you will see once we take a look at...
Hello everybody, this is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, and we're going to be doing a play-by-play of the vice presidential debate, which will be on in a little while, and we're going to be starting at 9 o'clock Eastern when it starts, and we'll be talking about J.D. Vance, who's really, I think, great, a top student at Yale, and great student at Ohio State. He graduated in 2 years with honors and all of those things, but he's really a tremendous guy, actually, and he'll be going against Governor Walz, and I will not say anything bad about him because we're going to keep it very straight. We're going to see how they do. I think he's probably very underrated, actually, Walz, but it'll be interesting. So I'm going to be commenting. I have some people surrounding me who are pros, and they're going to be commenting, and we're going to say good and bad about both. If JD makes a mistake, we're going to say bad, and if Walz does something great, we'll say that was pretty good. So you're going to have some fun. We've done it a few times, and we've always gotten great ratings on it, and we are going to, I really believe, be fair, or at least somewhat fair. Maybe not 100% fair, but at least somewhat fair. So I think you're going to have a great time. So it's 9 o'clock. It's on Truth Social, 9 o'clock Eastern, and let's have some fun. It's going to be a very interesting night. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Like I said, even Trump had the expectation that J.D. Vance would be stumbling out there. He said if he says something wrong, he's going to call him out. He's going to be mad at him. And boy, did J.D. Vance say a lot of wrong things, a lot of things that are going to get him in trouble, and already did during the debate, so much so that he just got his mic shut off in the most humiliating fashion. And we're going to check that out in just a little bit. But I want to get into the first couple of posts that Donald Trump made as he was melting down on Truth Social, the first of which being about the anchors moderating the debate. Very weird. Let's take a look. Trump wrote on Truth Social, both young ladies have been extremely biased. Anchors, not a hot start to Donald Trump's live posting of the debate. And of course, his anger quickly consumed him, and he had to lash out again, this time at Tim Walz. Something he continued to do as Tim Walz just took J.D. Vance to school. But before we get into some of those incredible takedowns from Governor Walz, I want to see what Donald Trump had to say. Trump wrote, he's been indoctrinating with lies, thinking he can override his own incompetence. He's as nervous as you can get. I don't know how that's an attack on Tim Walz, but he surely tried not very well. But of course, the lies that Tim Walz wanted to call out of Donald Trump's, those did go well. And I want to start with one of my favorites, Tim Walz calling out Donald Trump for his attacks, calling climate change a hoax right here.
Back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen. Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. What we've seen out of the Harris administration now, the Biden-Harris administration, is we've seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest in global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act, has created jobs all across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country. The largest solar manufacturing plant in North America sits in Minnesota. But my farmers know climate change is real. They've seen 500-year droughts, 500-year floods back to back.
Just an incredible and incredibly timely call out from Governor Walz there. And of course, J.D. Vance responded, pushing this idea that Donald Trump wants to perpetuate this conspiracy that climate change is a hoax. But I don't want to have to hear too much from J.D. Vance tonight. We only will check out the parts in which he is getting shut down, which, to be honest, was most of the debate. But Donald Trump was mad that J.D. Vance did get fact-checked, did get called out for calling climate change a hoax, and he responded on Truth Social by saying, this Trump wrote Margaret Brennan just fact-checked JD incorrectly on quote-unquote climate change. When is she going to fact-check Tim Walz on all of his false statements? Another repeat, with the fake news being unfair to the Republican candidate and trying to get the pathetic Democrat across the finish line, but it doesn't matter. The public sees it for what it is, fake news. I just imagine Trump on the plane getting flashbacks to his debate with VP Harris. Remembering him getting fact-checked by the moderators who were doing their job, having journalistic integrity to call out Donald Trump's lies. And of course, Cam AAR is shutting him down again and again, from his failures during his presidency to his current failures in attempts to attack our democracy and attack the bipartisan border deal, which he did, and which she was called out for by Tim Walz in this clip right here.
Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this. And that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's most Americans out here. That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen. It was crafted by a conservative senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford. I know him. He's super conservative, but he's a man of principle, wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation. The Border Patrol said, this is what we need in here. These are the experts. And the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal said, pass this thing. Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up these the adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue. It gives him to, what would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things? And they need to be done by the legislature. You can't just do this through the executive branch. So look, we have the options to do this. Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this. And he promised you, America, how easy it would be. I'll build you a big, beautiful wall, and Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and Mexico didn't pay a dime. But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator, dehumanizing people and telling them what he was going to do. As far as the deportation plan, at one point, Senator Vance said it was so unworkable to be laughable. So that's where we're at. Pass the bill, she'll sign it.
Tim Walz speaking the absolute truth and laying out the really clear case that everything Donald Trump has done in his entire life and his entire political career has just been about serving himself in whatever political or monetary way he can in that exact moment. It's all he has ever cared about, pushing lies to get to whatever ends he wants. It is the only thing that consumes him all the time. It is me, 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 Donald. And don't we want a lot less than that? Don't we wish we could just mute that? Well, we can mute J.D. Vance, which is exactly what happened when he was pushing lies about immigration. I absolutely love this clip. Let's check it out.
Governor, and just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status temporary protected
Well,
status.
Margaret,
Nora?
but
Thank you.
Senator, we have so much to get to.
Margaret,
Thank you,
I think it's
Nora.
important
We're
because
gonna turn out of the
debate-
economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys
economy-
weren't going to
we're-
fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank
our
you,
own
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal
And Ka-
process.
and Kamala-
We
and
have
Kamala
so much
Harris
to get
opened up
to,
that
Senator.
pathway.
Those
We have
laws
so
have been on
much-
the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
we want to
CBP
have
One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process. Nora?
Thank you, Margaret.
Silence can really be a beautiful sound, can't it? Just sometimes that silence, not having to hear from J.D. Van, so incredible. Don't we want to do that in November mute? Both him and his boss just shut him off. But for the time being, we do have to unfortunately listen for the sole purpose of calling them out. And another thing of Donald Trump's I want to call out is this post he made so enraged after J.D. Vance got cut off, he knows how badly he's losing. And I want to take a look. Trump wrote, Margaret Brennan just lied again about the illegal migrants led into our country by lying VP Harris. And then she cut off JD's mic to stop him from correcting her hate to break it to you. Donald, actually, I love to break it to you. Responding to the truth, which with a lie, which is what J.D. Vance wanted to do, is not correcting someone that's just more lying. And I know you love lying in. You don't have a heart. But wherever that is, you have in your chest cavity. I know there's a special place there for lying. It is your favorite thing to do. I guess talking about yourself is your favorite thing to do, but lying is certainly up there. But no, J.D. Vance wasn't going to correct the moderator. He was going to lie even more. And those lies, of course, by Tim Walz were being constantly crushed. And I want to get into another great example of those right here.
Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this. If you need heart surgery, listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump. And the same thing goes with this. And I ask you out there, teachers, nurses, truck drivers, or whatever, how is it fair that you're paying your taxes every year and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years, in the last year as president? That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
You have a minute.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore.
Another absolutely perfect takedown from Governor Walz of J.D. Vance. And then what J.D. Vance is pivoting then to attacking experts. Are we going to trust the guy in Donald Trump who says windmills cause cancer? The guy who told us to inject bleach in ourselves. This is the guy. Climate change is a hoax that we want to be listening to. No, I think we need to trust our experts, trust our science, and trust those who actually have our best interests in mind, like VP Harris, like Tim Walz, who have spent their entire lives serving us, not J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, who have spent their lives serving themselves. The choice both between the presidential candidates, and as we can see on this stage tonight, the voice presidential candidates couldn't be any clearer. We always talk about that, ever so important word of contrast on this show, and we just got another example of it tonight, and we are going to continue to talk about that contrast every day until Election Day. on this show, and we're going to continue to cover the debate tonight. And so if you want to catch up on all that, of course you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments and let me know which of the moments from the debate so far has been your favorite. And until next time, which I hope is soon, I will see you soon.